Sexy is not a size. I've been everything from a size 6 to a size 16, and let me tell you, size does not matter. Well, there is one area where size does matter. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Of course size matters. Nobody wants a small pizza. No, but sexy is an attitude. I didn't always know this. Up until a few years ago, I was overworked, overwhelmed, overweight, and so over it. And then I heard the words of the poet Hafiz, who said, "Let the words you use be the house you live in." But I was living in a house where society says that a woman's worth is dictated by the size of her thighs. And I was living in a house where every woman in my family was on a perpetual diet. And I was living in a house where the magazine ads and headlines said, "Lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. New body, new you. Lose the fat, find the sexy." If the words we use become the house we live in, then we live in a house that makes women feel shame, that equates fat with shame. I'm going to read you a little poem I wrote. Dear Mom, I was 7 when I found out you were fat. I never knew it before, but then one day I knew it, and then I couldn't unknow it anymore. I knew you were fat because you said so. I knew you were fat because you never lied. I knew you were fat because I heard you say it to yourself as you looked in the mirror. Before that day, I never knew your breasts were fat. All I knew was that they were where I went to rest my head, billowing pillows of flesh designed to wipe off my tears and choke back my sobs. They were where I listened to your voice, sing-song, scary, sweet story voice. They were the portal to your heartbeat, the very tempo that put me to sleep. They were the ocean that heaved me up and down on the ebbs and flows of your breath. They were my home, my salvation, my rescue until that day, the day I learned that your breasts were fat. Before that day, I never knew that your thighs were fat. All I knew was that your thighs stood straight and strong under the skirt that I hid behind, the swinging, summer, swishy kind of skirt, the kind of skirt that women wore, the kind of skirt that I pretended to wear when I played grown-up. Until that day, the day I learned that that skirt meant fat, and that it hid thighs that were fat. Before that day, I never knew that your stomach was fat. That was the stomach that had encased me for 9 months, wrapped me in a warm womb of watery heaven, held me suspended in not yet life, and gave me the very air that I breathed. Until that day, the silver lines that were etched across your skin were the tether rope that I traced to remember where I came from, the trail of breadcrumbs leading me back to the safety, the tracks that told the story of my birth. That day, I learned that those too were fat. Fat, 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 the word itself an umbilical guillotine, an ominous rope around my neck, a death sentence waiting to happen. Fat, fat, fat. Is there anything worse than for a woman to be than that? Fat, you said to the mirror. Fat, she echoed back. Fat, fat, fat. Nothing worse than that. I was 7 when I found out you were fat. I was 7 when I found out that one day I would be fat too. Because you said so. If the words we use become the house we live in, then let the foundation of that house be built on that beauty fits anybody. And let the framework of that house be that sexy is not a size. And let the rooms be built extra large. And then have your pizza. Size large.